Hello, Facebook. My name is Eric Tate. I'm alongside Nick Locapo, and welcome to the Top 20 Countdown live right here in the P3 Magic Theater. I said, hey, Facebook, but you know what? Hello to YouTube as well, because guess what? We're on YouTube a second week in a row. We pulled it off.
Can't leave them out, man. Nobody's talking to us on YouTube, but that's okay. That's okay.
So I should say right off the jump here, please be sure to share this video, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. We want to get as many people watching as we can, and Nick and I are both monitoring the chats. I'm monitoring Facebook, Nick is monitoring YouTube. We've got like a friendly rivalry to see who can get more people on their platform.
We have all the Apple products.
Yeah. You know. So we want to see you guys here in the chat. We're going to be taking viewer questions all night while we talk about the top 20. But most importantly, make sure you share the Facebook link as many times as possible because I want to talk to more people on Facebook than Nick is talking to on YouTube.
Yeah, we're going to just hang out and not talk to each other on YouTube, so it's going to be fun.
Nick, how's it been?
Oh, you know, this is my weekly social time, so this is great. It's great to be out of the house. And
we see no one else, and then we see each other.
Yeah, and we talk magic tricks. So what else has changed? Nothing, really. Right?
No, that's it.
Nothing.
Everything else is fine. There's nothing wrong at all.
Nothing at all.
We just do magic tricks. And
That's it. That's all we do. We talk about magic tricks. But there's some great ones in the top 20 this week.
There is. I think some honorable mentions because there's a few things that have fallen out. Like Bander Action has been in the top 20 for 20,000 years.
Yeah, the rubber band trend has declined a little bit.
Yeah.
I think we were seeing a lot of rubber band tricks in the top 20 there for the last few weeks.
I feel like Bander Action sort of like kicked off like a resurgence in interest in rubber band tricks because there was that week where we had Bander Action, but then like BH Concepts showed up in the top 20.
Yeah, it was also with the band, with Dan Harlan and Dave Jonathan. It's just interesting how it all kind of happens.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not planned. I do think people, you know, if you really dive deep, there's people just kind of sitting at home. It's more fun to play with a rubber band trick than it is to play with a 9-phase gambling demonstration, right?
Wait, if you're watching this right now and you think a rubber band trick is more fun than a 9-phase gambling demonstration, I say log off because there's nothing more fun than a 9-phase. Comment below if you think a 9-phase gambling.
Also note Eric's friend numbers right now because they're about to decline, I think. Yes. No. But no, I think that does make a little bit of sense.
No,
you know, the things that you can practice at home that are easier. And I think we've been seeing that throughout the summer. You know, kind of the longer form magic, still great, but not as interesting to practice at the moment.
I think that also those things are not just fun to practice, but they're fun to look at. Like when you look at some of the things that are going on with rubber band magic, when you do that, right, like you can do that and fool yourself, like right there in front of you, even if you know how it all works.
I don't even think, is there any rubber band tricks this week? I don't even think there is.
I don't think there is.
I don't think there is. We'll find out. I don't recall one at the moment.
Some good stuff. There's some good stuff in this week. There's
number 20 is a rubber band trick, by the way.
Oh, is number 20? Oh, that's right,
Of course.
Well, I think maybe we jump into it then, right?
Jump on in.
Let's jump into number 20 this week. Tuning in number 20 is Pinnacle by Russ Niedzwiecki. Pinnacle is quite frankly the coup de grace of rubber band and ring tricks. This is a beautiful multi-phase routine where a ring and a rubber band link and unlink strand by strand, phase by phase. This is really interesting. This was an older effect that came out a number of years ago, and we had Russ into the P3 Magic Studios in order to film an update. He's got some new concepts that have never been revealed before on video, and it's never been filmed in this high in definition and really taking care to make sure that everything is taught in detail, and you're getting all of the updates that Russ has done to it in the last 20 years. This is a really beautiful trick.
Sure
is. This is really interesting. It's not difficult.
No.
But compared to other rubber band tricks.
No.
But it is involved.
Yeah, it's just a trick with a borrowed ring. You know this handling, and you can do it for the rest of your life. The visuals that you saw in the clip here are what is possible with just a borrowed ring and a borrowed rubber band. I love these types of tricks.
It's interesting when you look at it because it really is a borrowed ring and it really is an ordinary rubber band. There's nothing gimmicked about this.
Right.
It's just a very clever handling that Russ has
and I have this own category in my brain where there's just no reason to not know how to do this routine.
Yeah.
Because if you can keep it upstairs.
Yeah.
It's just something that you'll have the opportunity to do a lot.
You know, this is sort of like in the same category for me as like Gregory Wilson's recaps.
Yeah.
And just any of those types of tricks there where these are ordinary objects that you're gonna come in contact with. And if you know, everyone's got rings. If you're doing any rubber band magic, this is something that you should be able to do. You're 100% right.
The other thing that's worth noting about Pinnacle specifically is that, you know, Russ, this is one of Russ's pet routines that he has been performing for 20 years. And let me see here, $10 for Pinnacle. You know, downloads that you get a lot are great, and they're tricks that people do, and they do them a lot, and there's a lot of information that you can go through. But this is different. This is, you know, this could be a project. I mean, it is its own project, but this could be a whole lot more there's so much to dive into here. For $10, you're getting a real bargain and a routine that you'll do the rest of your life.
Yeah, and actually, big shout out to Nick Popa for some of those really cool B-roll shots that you see, like where that ring is like slowly penetrating through strand by strand. You're really seeing that ring, the rubber band, like vibrate. Like Nick did a really great job shooting.
Yeah,
this.
sure did.
It's not just a great trick; it's also beautiful to watch.
It's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It really is. It looks that good. Yeah. Well, yeah, we should move on to number 19. I thought you were going to introduce Nick Popa. That's why.
Oh, yeah, we should introduce Nick Popa. Nick, throw yourself up here on the screen.
There he is.
How's it going, everybody?
You got to turn those lights out, man.
Oh yeah.
Because we set all that so that you could. Let's turn the lights out. Yeah, there we go. This is Nick Popa via the '90s sci-fi thriller Hackers.
Oh, you do have one fan here, Jorge and Dean Anido.
Yeah.
Hello, Jorge.
Gambling demos.
Oh, Chris Williams here on
Fans
the
are more
Facebook
fun,
Live
though.
saying gambling demos.
Oof. I don't know where you guys are coming from. Anyway,
Let's move.
moving on.
Let's move on.
Moving on
number
to
19.
number 19 is the Penguin Magic Monthly magazine. Now, what's funny is that I had one here, and then
last week.
It shouldn't have moved. It shouldn't have disappeared, but it did, because it's
Who's
that
been
magical
messing
of a
with our
magazine.
desk?
I don't know. Nobody else comes in here, so we did have the magazine, but now it's gone, and we were going to go over it. I think the thing to know here is, if you're not aware, if you spend over $50 on penguinmagic.com on any magic tricks, doesn't matter what you get, you will also get a free copy of our monthly Penguin Magic magazine. And this is a magazine that is loaded with tricks every week. It's got gimmicks in it every week. In fact, the magazine that we had here.
Every month. I
Every
feel like
mo-
we should
every
clarify
week.
this.
Every month.
Every month.
Penguin Magic Monthly.
We're putting out a new magazine once a month.
Monthly.
Not every week.
Yeah, every week. That would be
I
rough.
know. Josh Birch is moderating the chats right now, and
Yeah,
Josh
let's talk
is
to Josh about Penguin Magic Weekly.
Yeah.
I think that might be a better idea,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, right? Think
Yeah.
Josh has got time for that?
Leave a comment down below if you think Josh should start putting out this magazine every week instead of every month. What do you say?
He's
there?
got plenty of time.
Yeah,
He's got plenty of time.
I think weekly is
Yeah,
fine.
weekly sounds good. Penguin Magic Weekly sounds a little better, too.
Yeah.
So maybe we won't do the full segment here on number 19 because we don't actually have one here to show you. But you should know that it is a thing.
See a comment here in the chat, Clay Smith asking, how do I get the magazine? Well, there's two different ways to get it. A, you can actually subscribe to it. It is a monthly subscription that's available. We'll mail one out to you every month. But also, anytime you order $50 or more on penguinmagic.com, a free complimentary edition of the magazine comes to you of that month. And also, we should say, the magazine is a great way to get published. Maybe you've got a new trick that isn't quite ready for like a full-on download release, but you still want to share it. The magazine is a great way to do that. There's actually an area in the magazine that'll tell you how to submit articles, tricks, all kinds of different content that you can get published in Penguin Magic Monthly.
Yeah, I think the best way to get one is just, instead of buying one trick at a time, maybe get like 3 of them together so you get the free magazine in the mail, I think they're about a $10 value a piece, I think, $10 or $12, I think.
I mean, you get more than $10 in value.
No, I mean, but if you were going to just buy a single issue,
yeah, if
I
you were
think
gonna
it's
buy
about $10 or $12.
It's $10.
Yeah, so...
Well, they're great. They're really great magazines.
yeah, no, it's great. I wish we had one, but it vanished. Don't know.
Moving on to number 18 this week is Die Cipher 2.0. This is a beautiful brass curiosity. If you're familiar with the original Die Cipher, it was the dice that goes inside of a can, that goes inside of another little can, and you're able to somehow psychically or mentally divine the identity of the number chosen by your spectator. But the really cool thing is that this one is solid brass. It's really heavy. It's fantastic. The method is super clever. It works every time. You will always know the number that the audience selected and put in. And this is a really cool little.
Yeah. So the secret is the reason why this popped up in the top 20 is because we now have this electronic die craze that's going on.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that this is the same thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of differences,
It's
but
not
the same
electronic.
thing. But there's no electronics here.
Yeah.
So what do you prefer? I mean, prefer is not the right way to put this, but there's 2 ways to go about knowing what's on the face-up number on a die. And that's why this is here. That's why the Decipher is in the top 20 right now. Is because people are like, do I go with the electronic die? Do I go with the less expensive brass or stainless steel die?
Yeah. I think these live in different worlds.
They do.
There are arguable reasons to own both.
Yeah.
So the electronic die, I kind of think that's more in like a showpiece, right? Where I would put this is something that is beautiful that you would have on your desk or your mantle. And it's this sort of like, it's an object that people are going to ask you about and then makes a perfect, natural, organic segue into doing a piece of mental magic for someone. You can put this out and people will comment on it because it looks very unusual.
Yeah, it looks like something that you'd buy at, like on Sharper Image or Brookstone or something like that. But the method is amazing. The method on this thing, some of you are probably not familiar with how this works, but that brass die goes in that little tube, and then you put the cap on top of it, and just by you're not peering inside the case. That's not what happens. But just by looking at the case, you're able to know what number is face up on that die. The method is 100% undetectable. There's no way anybody to understand how you could possibly know what that number is. So
it's a really killer little thing, and I don't own this particular one. I have handled it. It's very nice, and it definitely if I worked in an office job where I had people into my office on a regular basis, this would live on my desk.
I should mention it's strictly close up too. This isn't something like the way that you obtain the information about the number. I suppose you could do it from afar, but it was going to be increasingly more difficult the further away you get, for sure. But Decipher, it's a good one. Moving on to number 17. Number 17 this week is the Impromptu Magic Project by Vinny Grosso. This is a great idea. Essentially, what's going on here is Vinny has put together what we call them, the Avengers of Magic here. We got Banachek, Mike Caveney, Matt King, Chris Kenner, and Bill Hers. He got all these guys together to learn their favorite close-up routines. They teach them to Vinny, and then Vinny then has to go out and perform them at various cocktail parties or gigs that he happens to have. And what's amazing is that after Vinny performs all of these tricks when he's out at these different parties, it then cuts back to the living room where he's sitting there with Caveney, Matt King, Kenner, Bill Hers, and they're all ripping him apart about his performance, how to improve it. They jam on the trick together. So it's it feels like one of these ideas that, maybe guys have thought about before. It'd be fun is if I got Michael Amar in here to do a voiceover of my magic performance or something,
This is one of those projects that only a guy like Vinny could put together, but I'm so glad that he did.
It's a really great project.
These are really solid tricks.
Oh, yeah.
They're super duper good, but also the idea of having them watch your performance and then critique it, and then they springboard into new ideas from that. There is so much to learn.
So much. It's just fun to watch.
I believe we have a performance.
We do.
Nick, why don't you throw up that performance of this, because this is a new performance.
Well, I'll tell you, it's basically this comes out in 3 parts. We've already seen Impromptu Magic Project Part 1 and 2. So the performance that you're going to see is from Part 3, which comes out Tuesday, so it's not out yet. And I will say that this trick that is doing here from Bill Hers is one of my favorite tricks.
Oh yeah?
That I do this trick. I haven't done it in a while, but this has been one of my most dangerous tricks for a long time.
Super excited to watch this then.
So go for it.
I normally don't try to do magic at dinner or anything like that, but I have a trick that I do with my watch and your watch, if you want to see. No, you want to see it?
I want to see it.
Okay, all right, okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my watch off, and I'm going to keep it in this little safety jewelry box here. What I would like, I'm going to use your watch, so you can take your watch off, and what I'd like you to do is go to anyone in this party here, anyone at all, and I just want you to ask a person that you don't know to come and help us. There's a bunch to.
Sure. Okay. Can you come over?
Excuse me, miss.
Excuse me, miss.
Yeah. Can you come and help us for a second? Yeah. What is your name?
Ellen.
Ellen. All right, Ellen. What I'd like you to do, I have my watch is inside this napkins. Can you hold the napkin like that, just very gently? Okay. What I'd like you to do is go into a whole nother room. Okay. And then open the napkin up, take my watch, and set the time to a random time.
Anytime?
Anytime. But you know how to set a watch, right?
I do.
Okay. All right. Great. And Ellen?
Ellen.
Okay. Thank you, Ellen. We'll see you in a second.
All right.
Okay. And what I'm going to do, if you don't mind, can I? I'm going to try and set your watch.
You have to unscrew it first.
You have to unscrew it. Oh, this is fancy. The divers thing. So, okay. And
660 feet water tested.
yeah. So we're getting a commercial in for your.
No.
There we go. Okay, great. Now I'm able to set it. And then let's dial that in. Okay. So I've set your watch to just a random time, and we're going to see if a random person at this party. Oh, yeah, she's actually back. She's already come around. We're going to just see how this works. If you, I don't want to touch my watch. He knows a lot about watches. I'm going to ask you to hand him my watch. There you go. And if you could look at my watch and tell me what time it is.
It is 9:06.
9:06. Could you take a look at your husband's watch and tell me what time I set it to?
9:06.
9:06.
Are you kidding?
Hold on. How the did that work?
Fooled Kenner.
Hey, if it fools Kenner, it's good enough for me. That's a great secret.
Oh, it's it's such a good secret.
Yeah.
This actually originates from Tarbell.
Oh, really?
It's in Tarbell. I was trying to find the name of this thing. I can't remember what it was called. I looked for a bit today. And then I went down that rabbit hole. I'm like, oh, I got to get out. I got to get out. But Bill also talked about this secret in his Penguin Live lecture.
Oh.
This is taught by Bill Hers on this project. He teaches it to Vinny. And it's amazing to see the breakdown by the group on this one, where Kenner's like, how does that work, right?
Yeah.
Like, to watch that is amazing. All the magic on this project is like this, though.
It's
right?
super good.
Stuff that anybody would do.
It's really good. Like the clip we watched last week of Kenner, like they're all miracles.
Yeah, they are.
All really good miracles.
Yeah, they're all really good. And I think Bill also published that routine on, he's got a great book. Oh, Bill, I'm sorry. It's something, The Astonishing Executive. Do you ever hear that book?
Oh, yeah.
It's all magic for,
Yeah, for like business professionals and stuff like that, yeah.
Something of the Astonishing Executive. You just search for Astonishing Executive, and I'm sure you find it. Bill Hers. Yeah.
I think the other big takeaway from this is that what you're getting with this is that a lot of the tricks in this are the go-to material for these guys.
Yes.
So when you look at this, it's like, if Banachek is going to do something that's his, if Banachek is put on the spot and he has to do something to impress somebody, what is Banachek going to do? What is Matt King going to do if he's put on the spot to impress someone? What is Bill Hers and Mike Caveney and Chris Kenner?
Yeah.
Like those are the amazing things, is that like we all have our own go-to tricks. And so when you think about guys like this who are frankly like our heroes, like what is our heroes go-to trick? I mean, it's super good.
And that's what you're going to get at this project, and this is definitely one of those tricks. So check that out. That's a great thing that's going on right now, and it's the last installment of it. Comes out this week. So
great project. Vinny did a fantastic job on. But let's move on to number 16 this week. Number 16 is Nicholas Lawrence Live. Nicholas was in here not too long ago filming a fantastic lecture.
I'm going to start off with something.
Oh, can you turn that off just real quick, Popus? Sorry about that. We have a couple of clips from this that we're going to share with you. But what's really interesting is that Nicholas is one of those creators who's always working on stuff, and he's always got new ideas. And so some of the stuff in this is brand new ideas. Some of it is a 2.0 version of something that he's put out before that he wants to share with you. All of it is stuff that you can build at home that's really easy to do. And I think right now we should take a clip. I will tell you that this is very rough. It's not, the audio isn't fully put together. It's not quite fully color corrected. We just really wanted to share some of what you're gonna get and see some really cool, really visual magic. So this is a rough cut of Nicholas Lawrence performing 2 tricks from Nicholas Lawrence Live.
I'm gonna start off with something that you guys are probably familiar with, but it's just a cool, fun twist on it. It feels nice and organic. The idea is you're gonna have a card selected, all right, like most card tricks. You can have the card signed, okay? And then from here, you would just go ahead and just lose it into the pack. And as a magician, right, our job is one thing, find that card, try to make it creative and interesting. Well, what I like to do is make a bet with my spectator and let them know, if by chance I'm not able to find your card, I'll give you all the money in my pocket. Okay, so that's the idea. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pull out one random card. Let's see, just like that. I'm feeling pretty good on this one. So we're looking for the 7 of clubs. I usually don't mess up, so let's take a look. Yeah, I got it. No, I had to show you. I did mess up. This does happen. But again, I said I'd give you all the money in my pocket, which I'm not gonna lie to you guys, isn't much. Okay, it's not much money at all, but fair's fair, right? Actually, maybe I got some bills on me. Fair's fair. Let me see what I got here. I was gonna use this for the bus, but gather my change. I think I've got about $1 worth of change, but you know, a lot of people, they won't accept that. So what I'll do is I'll just do a little plan B, and I'll change it into one card, and hopefully it's their 7 of clubs, which could be signed, of course. Again, this could be any card. Okay, in this case, I already have it pre-signed, but your spectator is going to sign it, put their initials on it, whatever you like. And then what we're going to do is I'm actually going to draw an X. Okay, not on your card. If I just pull this back, I'm going to draw an X on the 2nd card. I'll make sure it's nice and dark so you guys can see that, right? So just keep your eye on that X, okay, and I'm going to try something. Now, if I just bring it up here one more time so you guys can watch, and I heat up the ink, don't take your eye off it because I can actually make that X go from here to your card, just like that. So that's very quick. And you can see it's already cooled down. You can actually have the spectator look at that. It's not going to move one bit.
It's really, I mean, it's like knockout stuff. There was Dan Harlan at the end of the lecture, like, jumped to his feet and wanted to immediately go play with a bunch of the different concepts that Lawrence shared with us. I mean, that, like, how good is that change thing?
He's got so much good stuff.
Yeah.
I was so happy that he was able to come out for that's his 2nd Penguin Live lecture.
Yeah. It's actually, it's like he's got 2.5.
Now, when does it come out? It's not out yet, right?
No, I think it's out in
maybe next Sunday.
Next Sunday, I think it is.
Yeah, I think it's next Sunday.
Because we filmed this like 3 weeks ago. Man, we filmed so much stuff lately.
It's the bi-weekly thing that is hard to grasp about when, but I do think that comes out this next Sunday. So yeah, I mean,
it's really good, and he shares some other interesting effects on here. I think one of my favorites that we filmed is he takes a popcorn kernel, an uncooked popcorn kernel, he puts it in his fist, and then it pops, like it becomes popcorn. It's really great because it like shoots out of his hand at the spectator. It's a fantastic trick. There's a lot of really good stuff in here. Little arts and crafts involved, but nothing like super involved.
Yeah.
I think I actually might do the change thing.
Yeah, no, that looked great.
It looks so good, doesn't it?
Looked great. If you're unfamiliar, I mean, I see some people in the chat. Don Podless, it says this is outstanding. He hopes we do more of these. And somebody had asked about, you know, what were they watching, essentially. If you've never seen a Penguin Live lecture, that weekly here we film magicians from all over the world who come in and actually talk for multiple hours about whatever they do. For example, Nicholas Lawrence here is one of the best like gimmick magic creators that we have, and he spent a few hours with Dan Harlan breaking down just a variety of stuff that he's into at the moment. We have a subscription for this as well on our website, penguinmagic.com. For $50 a month, you get, well, that actually might not be true anymore. I can't remember exact price anymore. Josh in the chat will let us know what the all access pass costs these days. And you'll get 2 lectures a month from the best magicians in the world. It's one of the best ways to learn, period, in Magic.
We've had some really interesting Penguin Live lectures lately. Jeremiah Zuo, who I think we're going to talk about a little bit later in the show, did an amazing lecture on coin magic. Christopher Carter, much earlier on, a few months ago, came in and did an amazing lecture.
We tease the award show every now and then on this show that we're probably going to do, and I cannot wait to talk about the lectures specifically, like the best lectures of the year. You know, that's something that I feel like everybody asks whenever we're out somewhere.
What's the best lecture?
It's going to be fun to like definitively like give out. Yeah, this is it, you know. So
just today we had Adam Christing in doing a very interesting lecture about how you can blend magic with public speaking so that you can command greater fees if you wanted to get into like motivational speaking with magic. We've had some really interesting
Yeah, we just
stuff.
had Luis Carrion in last week.
And actually I saw Luis Carreron in the chat. Luis did a fantastic lecture. It was like 3 mini sets with card magic, coin magic. There's something where you set a rose on fire and make coins appear. It's really knockout stuff. Luis is one of those really solid magicians who's always working at the Chicago Magic Lounge. I think he's one of the hosts or one of the house magicians at Chicago Magic Lounge. And actually did some of the very first virtual shows for the Magic Castle. So you're going to really want to check out his Penguin Live because it was phenomenal.
Yeah, this is a lot. This is a lot. We do those a lot. Anyway, moving on. Moving on to number 15. This is Worlds Beyond by Paul Curry. This is just one of the best magic books that you could possibly buy. This thing is loaded with amazing magic that you can learn how to do. If you're not familiar with Paul Curry, he is the inventor of the trick Out of This World. What's the old story on Out of This World?
The Out of This World, the story is that Paul was in England during World War II and was invited to show a magic trick to Winston Churchill.
Well, Winston Churchill, that's correct.
Winston Churchill was on his way to a cabinet meeting, and he said, "Okay, I got time for one trick." And Paul did Out of This World for Winston Churchill, and Winston Churchill said, "Do it again." And of course, Paul Curry obliged and did it again and fooled Churchill and did it again. And Churchill demanded to see it over and over and over again. And of course, Paul obliged because it was Winston Churchill in World War II. And this is supposedly the card trick that brought World War II to a halt because because the World War II did not continue again until Winston Churchill was satisfied seeing Out of This World.
Until he read The Secret, right?
Yes.
That's how you want to know.
Yeah. And then he was sorely disappointed.
Yeah, right. Well, it's a great method, but yes. Go to the overhead here so we can take a look at the book. We've been talking about this book a lot lately. It just got reprinted with Hermetic Press, so you can now own a brand new copy of it. And I mean, it not only has Out of This World, but it has so many good tricks. I mean, you're going to get moves, you're going to get tricks, you're going to get tricks with change and card tricks and mentalism ideas, and then rope magic as well. Paul Curry had a lot of great rope magic. It's got illustrations, and you know, just one of the. We've been talking about this a lot over the past few weeks, and the best way to describe some of this stuff is it's just stuff that you'll do.
Some of the best magic that you have seen people do probably came out of this book at some point.
A lot of the Spanish guys are big fans of this book. We're talking about Michael Weber's routines in there. That trick, the Perfect Miracle?
Yeah,
is that
Perfect Miracle is, after 3 weeks of talking about this book, we finally decided that Michael Weber lectures on Perfect Miracle.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting to me about this is that Worlds Beyond was out of print for quite some time.
Yeah.
It was one of those books that people talked about, but you just couldn't lay your hands on it because, I don't know about you, but I spent a lot of time in the aftermarket book world, and no one would sell this to me.
There's a guy here on YouTube, looks like 11, you know, the star from Stranger Things. Do you guys use anything from this book? I do.
Yeah.
Well, 2 things. One is a trick that's going to be later in the show, a trick called Touch. But the other thing that I use a lot, and you might as well, and I see a lot of people using it lately, is the swindle switch.
Yep.
Which is, you can go to the overhead, Nick. It's basically this thing where it's a way to, you can ask, you're going to lay cards on the table, but your spectators have the chance to say deal or switch. And if they say switch, you'd switch these two cards and then put them on the table. Deal or switch, you deal or switch. They have the choice. But no matter what happens, these cards will stay in the same order that you wanted them in.
Yeah. I was actually just about to mention the swindle switch because it is something that I use all the time. For,
very
for
deceptive.
A couple different things. And
Yeah.
It's a really, really good move.
Yeah, and that's, it's a great tool for virtual magic as well.
Yeah.
Because it's something that you could say to the people through the screen, hey, let's mix these 7 cards that I have in a specific order one more time, but you don't, but you are giving the audience a chance to mix the cards, even though they don't. Yeah. It's a real staple in a lot of things.
There's a lot of really good material in here, but unfortunately we have to move on.
Sorry, yes, move on.
I think this one is yours, number 14.
Oh, 14, we'll do this one. Number 14 is The Fistful of Dollars by Gregory Wilson. This is a 3-coin routine where coins one at a time will appear at your fingertips and disappear at your fingertips. I wasn't able to put together a good clip that kind of illustrates the full routine. I can kind of explain it after you see some of the visuals here. But there's a great move that Greg's got here where the coins just kind of snap into place and the vanishes as well. I have a lot of really. Let me just get this clip out here and then we can talk about it, so you can get a little idea of what this kind of looks like for the spectators. Yeah.
I mean, this is a vanish. This is a production and vanish of 3 coins that is super solid. It's really good. And actually, I want to address the chat here. Mark DiTullio. Hey, Mark, thanks for tuning in. We love seeing you in the chat every week. Mark DiTullio asks, does Fistful of Dollars use a common coin gimmick, and will it be released as a download only?
It should. It should. It's fun talking about these. This is not, it's older.
Yeah.
Because we filmed this probably in like 2015, 16, something like that. And at the time, we hadn't really put out a whole lot of physical products.
Yeah.
I think it's something to figure out. I'm going to write that down, Mark. But there's just politics involved. Anyway, let's just talk about the routine. So I use this all the time. This is one of my walk-around tricks.
I've seen you do it. It's really good.
Yeah. Gregory Wilson's stuff, if you don't know, is made like worker stuff.
Yeah.
This is no different.
Yeah.
Yes, you're going to be getting a special coin gimmick in the mail. If you, it's the turtle thing.
Yeah. You probably have this gimmick.
Yes.
What I would say is that you're getting a gimmick. You can't have too many of these gimmicks.
So,
it's like totally fine.
But
if you
I
have
see
another
Mark's dilemma. If he wants to learn this, it should probably be available for instant download as well.
Yeah.
It's worth bringing up. Let's send an email out about that afterward.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll tippy tap type something.
Yeah, because right now you're either going to spend $50 or $75 to get into this trick, because we have it in $50 or in dollar coins. But I guess the 10 seconds, the trick, coin number 1 appears, coin number 2 appears, coin number 3 appears. That's exactly what it looks like. Then you pick them up, 1 disappears, 2 disappears, 3 disappears. And that's it. The reason why I love it for walk around is because you start with nothing and you end with nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So there's no more there's a solid beginning and an end for your audience.
It's a really well thought out coin trick that I think is, if you're doing any walk around or you're going to do close up for something for some of your friends, it's just a no-brainer to be able to do this. It takes up almost no pocket space. It's a perfect trick for anything like that. But let's move on. Let's move on to number 13. This is Letter Perfect by David Regal. This is a really interesting routine. So you're going to get a very nice alphabet deck that is on bicycle stock with the mandolin backs. But what you're really getting, and the valuable part here, is David Regal is going to teach you a mixing process and routine that will allow your spectators to really, truly, and fairly mix cards face up and face down. And then at the end, all of the face down cards are turned over to reveal that they spell a word or the spectator's name. It can be anything. It's a really, really interesting procedure and a really great secret to know. And I gotta say, knowing this secret, one of the ways that David Regal explains it is in the context of a poker deal. So you could take this very same procedure and use it to mix cards face up and face down and then have a royal flush appear or a 4 of a kind or whatever you want. And so the alphabet deck is really interesting. What is more interesting is what you're learning from David in this routine.
Well, it is a clear example of if you went out and did this with the full, like a royal flush or something like that over and over and over again, and then you tried it with somebody's name, it's the same trick, but you get to see the difference in the reaction, which is why David included the alphabet deck, right?
Yes.
Because he, after years of performing the one sequence, he was like, wow, yeah, if you just put a word instead of the cards, it's way better, it's way stronger. So yeah, you're absolutely right. What you're really learning is like the procedure. It's almost kind of like the swindle switch deal that we were talking about. It's more complex. Not that it's hard. It's not hard at all. It's basically self-working. But the layers of what's going on there are a little bit deeper.
Yeah, this is really interesting. This is one of those secrets that if you're a magician, you should know this.
And if you need an alphabet deck, get this one. Because it's going to be on new stock. You know, what's it on? Maidenback?
I think it's actually on the mandolin back is what this one is on.
It is on the mandolin.
Yeah, the mandolin is a little bit different. It doesn't. I mean, it looks very close to the maiden and the rider back. Like I wouldn't go mixing decks because it'll be apparent. But when you spread out a mandolin deck, no one flies. It's the same as when he switched to maidens for the Mark deck. Like no one noticed the difference.
Nope, absolutely. A good trick. And you could use that sequence for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Outside of just that one particular trick.
Super good.
Like the snaps deck. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Actually, before we do, Don, Podless, thanks to you both for all your contributions to Magic. Ultra Lucky Coin kicks ass, and Nick, your demos are right on.
Thank you. I got to say, Nick was responsible for helping me out with some of the stuff on Ultra Lucky Coin. I'm glad you like it. And I'm getting ready to go into a new production run on Ultra Lucky Coin, and we might have some extra new special things in the new run for people. We're working on some things for people in Spain and France, and a couple of new things for people in the U.S. So it's going to be like
foreign language Lucky Coin.
A foreign language Lucky Coin.
Oh no!
No, but also stuff for the English speakers as well who've been asking some stuff. So it's not really like a 2.0. It's more like a 1.5. If you've already have Ultra Lucky Coin, there's some stuff in the new one that you can add to your old one too.
So coming to you in 2027. Yep. Okay. Moving on to number 12 is CIS, also known as Card in Sharpie by Mark Calabrese.
This is good.
This is really good. This is a signed card, vanishes from the deck and reappears inside the Sharpie marker that's been on the table the entire time. You can watch this, like the girl, he's looking for the card, and he says, well, here, just sign another card for me. And as she goes to open up the Sharpie marker, she's going to discover the card that she already signed inside of the marker.
This is really good.
They want to hit Mark, you can tell.
Yeah.
Honestly, so Card in Sharpie, super strong trick. If you've ever performed it, you know. This method is my favorite. It's a non-mechanical method. There's so many. This is like one of those rabbit holes you can go down, where there's all these different gimmicks where you can get cards in Sharpie markers. Mark has created, in my opinion, kind of like the workers' version of this. Like it's $15. Okay, so what you're going to get is you're going to get a gimmick in the mail, but it's super low tech, and you're going to learn how to make it as well. This is something that you can do. You can really do it. Eric, because you're really putting the card in the marker.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really what it comes down to, is that you're putting the card in the marker, and it's the only thing that can fail is you.
It's the routine, you know. Like, so yes, there's a gimmick that you're going to get that's help you in the aid in the process.
Yeah.
But Mark is such a strong performer, and he knows that you can use the routine to your advantage, and that's what's happened here. Is you actually get a great routine that allows you the luxury of just being able to do it for real.
You know, it was interesting. I had Mark on the podcast. And so whenever we have someone on the podcast, we come in, we do all kinds of different... So the Penguin Magic Podcast, if you're watching this and you're not familiar with it, you should subscribe. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, all the places where you listen to your favorite podcasts. But every time someone's on the podcast, I always have them do 2 segments. One is the Desert Island Magic books, which is just a fun way to find out what people's favorite magic books are, but the other one is top 5 under 5. And Mark put card in Sharpie in there. And he was like, I know this is mine, but I use it all the time because it's so strong.
It is.
And I've seen Mark do this, and it really does.
Oh,
count.
I mean, the first few times I saw Mark do this, I was like, how did you? What are you using? You know, something like that. I didn't realize that it was his own design and that he's just kind of, you know, there's something about this routine that makes me feel like, you know, when I first learned Magic, if I had to come up with a way to do card and Sharpie, this probably would have been the way I figured it could only possibly be done.
Yeah.
But it turns out it's the best method.
Yeah.
That I've seen.
The only thing that I have to say about card and Sharpie is that if you want to perform it very effectively, you have to have a very thick New Jersey accent.
Yeah, well, yeah. And you might want to think about getting a tattoo or so.
Yeah.
Or 2.
Nah, we're just kidding. We love Mark.
We love Mark.
We really do. He's such a fun
I
guy.
actually thought about getting him on as the guest this week. I should have suggested that to you.
We
You would have said yes.
Oh man, we should definitely have Mark on as a guest.
I mean, we won't even talk about Magic, but
Yeah.
we just do whatever.
And I got to say, Mark's Penguin Live lecture just came out, and there's stuff in there that is so good. I'm mad he put it out.
Yeah.
it's really good. But let's move on. Number 11 is John Bannon's View to a Skill. I got to say, we had John in here last year to film 5 different effects, and View to a Skill was one of my favorites, and it fooled me badly. Essentially what happens is you teach the audience a game. You each get half the deck, you each genuinely shuffle the deck, you each turn over cards. If both cards are black, you keep the cards. If both cards are red, they keep them. And they can choose the color. So if they wanted the black cards, they could take the black cards, or vice versa. If the cards don't match, if they're red and black, you throw them away. At the end of it, you count up how many cards you have, and then whoever has the most pairs wins. There is a prediction that is put out from the very beginning openly on the table. There's actually 2 predictions. And the predictions are not only who wins each game, but by how many you win each game. And the secret is really satisfying and something that you will fool people with this. It fooled me. This is a variation on Mirror Skill, the really great Stuart James principle. But the original Mirror Skill effect required all kinds of extra things like palming, and you had to know which cards were where. You definitely had to have a full deck of cards. You had to know all kinds of different things, and then there was some technical ability involved to be able to get this. And John basically solved all of those problems and eliminated every single move, because there's no moves in this.
No.
This just works.
No, Chicago Magic Bash says View to a Skill is really an underrated great trick, been doing it for years.
Yeah, this. So I think this is originally published in either Impossibilia or Smoke and Mirrors.
Yeah, it's in one of the 2.
Remember.
Yeah, it is.
And I always sort of view those books together, because
Yeah.
they're always on people's shelves together, and they've been together so long they're basically welded
Yeah.
together. And it's one of those that everyone who understood the power of these tricks has been doing them and wrecking people, and then when you see John do it to you, it's bonkers.
Yeah, there's no way to know how this works. You can't work this method out.
Yeah.
It's almost like a perfect card trick in a lot of ways. You can say that about a bunch of John Bannon tricks. But we're excited because I think we have a deal on this one this week.
We do. This is actually the featured download of the week on the Penguin Magic podcast, and it's the featured download of the week right here on the Top 20 Countdown. So if you are interested in purchasing View to a Skill and you want to get it at a discount, enter the code COOLBOXLIVE. That's COOLBOXLIVE, all one word, COOLBOXLIVE. That gets you 25% off View to a Skill at discount. So so pop it in your cart. You can pick up other stuff if you want to get to $50 to get that Penguin Magic Monthly and the free shipping. But no matter what you're buying, if you enter the discount code COOLBOXLIVE, you will get a 25% off on John Bannon's View to a Skill.
So this is a great one to learn.
It's $10. You're getting it cheaper.
John Bannon for $10? Come
John
on,
Bannon
man.
for less than
Less
$10.
than $10. Come on,
Yeah.
man. Come on.
COOLBOX Live.
Good tricks. We're all doing good tricks out there. That's well, I guess maybe we'll talk just briefly on the fact that we are hoping soon, very soon, that this show will transform a little bit more, where we'll be able to offer more and more discount codes on Magic. Yeah. In fact, we do think that going forward that this show will be a vessel for you to save a lot of money watching on penguinmagic.com. So going forward here, if you see us online, stick around because we'll probably be dishing out a lot more of these coupons going forward.
And just to let you guys know, if you want those changes to happen faster, using that discount code is a really important way to do it.
Yeah.
So that discount code is good until next Sunday because it will change. The CoolBox Live discount code will still be valid, but it's going to apply to a different product because each week Nick and I are going to pick something that we really like and we really want to share with you, and we're going to get you those savings. But the only way for us to continue to do that is for you to purchase that. Enter the discount code CoolBox Live because that tells people that tells our bosses that you're watching this show and that we're providing value.
Why didn't we think to bribe these people earlier, right? Like we can promise more discounts.
Yeah.
But that code needs to show up in the box somewhere soon.
And also be sure to share this video because if you share the video you're watching right now, it doesn't have to be live. This video is going to stay up on Facebook, so other people will see this and be able to enter that discount code and drive and be able to like help us get you more savings.
Yeah, it's exciting. So hopefully, maybe I want to make a change next week. Let's change something next week.
Should we?
I think so.
Yeah,
we'll change the show.
If it's not next week, it's the week after.
Well,
maybe
the
we
name
just
of the
change
show's
the
going to
show.
change. It's going to be the CoolBox Live. It's not going to be the top 20 countdown
Yeah,
anymore.
I mean we make this show.
We do make the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can make this whatever we want.
We can.
Make it Nick and Eric's Magic Discount Hour.
Or let's move on to number 10. Number 10 this week is Let's Be Fair by Juan Luis Rubiales. This is a very, 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 very fooling card trick from one of the Spanish masters. Basically, the cards are shuffled. They're cut into 3 piles. The spectator chooses a pile. He mixes that pile. Then he's going to take a look at the top card of that pile. He's going to show it to the crowd here, put it back on top. He's going to mix another pile, and he's going to toss it on top of the card that he put it on, and then reassemble the deck in any way that he wants. The deck gets cut and mixed, and then Juan goes into Juan mode and feels for the aura of the card, and he stops at a certain point, but not on the card that the spectator selected, a card that is exactly 1, 2, 3 cards away from the selection. This secret is something that I had never seen before. I should mention, Jared, just in the performance, it's not like a 3 every time. At some point, you'll stop, and whatever number you stop on, the selection will be that many cards away from the. It's a weird one to explain.
When
But
we filmed it with him, the first time he did it for us, for me and Nick Popa, I think it was a 7.
Yeah.
So he dealt like 3 cards, and it was the 7th card, and then it was the selected card was 7 cards away. I saw him do it where it was a 2 once. I saw him do it where it was a 9. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. And this is one of those things that the actual trick that he's doing is very Spanish. And so I feel like when you watch it, you sort of like, what's going on? And it's definitely like firmly in that Spanish style school of card magic. But the secret that you get, the way he's locating the card is really fascinating. And it's a secret that if you're a card magician and you're interested in improving what you know and able to improve the effects that you can do, this is a secret you should know.
yeah, the reason why this is a fooling trick is because nobody knows this secret.
The method is a very old. It's a very old method that comes from Spain, from a Spanish master, and Juan Luis Rubiales actually he cites the source on this in the download, and I'm just blanking on it right now because I actually filmed this.
Yeah.
So I do know the secret. And it's interesting because a lot of people have speculated that this is a key card, and it's not.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
what I'm
great.
saying. Like
It
you
looks
don't
like a key card trick. but
You
it's
don't know this method. It's not one of those.
Yeah.
It doesn't fall in the standard categories. I was really fascinated to learn the secret behind this because I was like, wow, I guess that works. So, yeah, if you're fooled by it and you want to learn a great new card method, pick up Let's Be Fair. It's only $10, and his Penguin Live act is hilarious. That is for sure.
It's definitely one of the more original Penguin Live acts we've ever seen. But let's move on to number 9 this week. Number 9 is No Clue by
our buddy.
Joseph B.
Joseph B
This
is
cat
back.
is showing up in the top 20 over and over and over again. But this is a really cool little trick. This is a card trick. So you turn around, you're facing away from everyone else. They shuffle the cards, they hand them to you. A card is selected, remembered, and returned to the deck, all with your back turned, and yet you are still able to find the card that they selected while you were facing away from them with the cards behind your back.
Yeah, so 2 of spades there, and this is not a force, shuffled pack. And then check this out. Goes right back into the center of the deck and then handed to the spectator to shuffle. So you're not talking about a force card. You're not talking about a key card. And then he's going to turn around and I just cut there. We didn't hide anything there. There's nothing too hide. It just was a while before he revealed the card. 2 of spades.
It's an interesting trick.
Eric, I did this to you before
did.
before the top 20 countdown.
Fooled me. Totally fooled me. I had no idea how it worked. I had some theories, but I was totally wrong. And then you shared the secret with me, and I got to say, this is a good secret.
Yeah, it's like, well, and you know, it's unlike Let's Be Fair,
Yeah.
where you were familiar with the secret.
Yeah.
Probably had never seen it used, maybe.
Nope.
No?
So I actually have seen this used. John Armstrong uses this method for an interesting but different trick. The trick is similar in some of the veins where you really have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of secret that John Armstrong would use, and I feel like if John Armstrong would use it,
Yeah.
you should use it.
Yeah, you should use it
It's
too.
super good.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
method.
As a matter of fact, John Armstrong uses it in the act that he used to win Magic Castle Close-Up Magician of the Year.
Look at that.
I'm not saying he used this trick. I'm saying that I happen to know that the method was in that act because I'm familiar with John's act and
Right.
saw that.
So if you don't have an idea, like, because you know it's not a force card and it's not a key card,
Yeah.
it's not, you know, if you are fooled by it, you should probably learn this. The trick is not really much of a trick. We're just finding. He's basically just putting the method on display here.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Joseph B. So what we can say about Joseph is that he's one of the Penguin Magic partners. He puts out magic on his own. This isn't something that we've produced here. And his stuff makes it up in the top 20 now pretty consistently.
Yeah.
We've talked about him a lot lately.
We've talked to him about 3 of his tricks recently.
This is the 3rd trick that we've talked to about, and we've only done like 10 shows.
Yeah.
So
It's I mean, it's very impressive that he's doing this.
yeah, so check him out, Joseph B on penguinmagic.com. He's got a wide variety of tricks. Last week was oh man, what was the one it was called last week? He had. Well, I'm blanking right now.
Yeah,
We'll come back to
I
it.
can't remember either, but there was
Well, Fuller was one. That was the first one that we did.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
the other
No
one
Way
was the sandwich
It
one.
was
the
No Way Sandwich.
Yeah.
That was No Way Sandwich by Joseph B. last week.
Yeah, it
and
was
it was
really
really
cool.
good.
Yeah.
I really liked that one.
Yeah.
That one I almost like added to a show, like because it fooled me. I
Yeah.
had no idea how it worked.
Yeah, he's got a lot of little clever methods that he's been putting on display. But yes, shout out to our guy Joseph B. No idea who you are, but he is part of the Penguin Magic Partner Program and puts out great magic that you should take a look at.
All right,
Moving on.
Let's move on.
Number 8 this week is the mental die. We've been talking about mental die and dice for months now. And so what this is the spawn of mental dice, where originally the mental dice was 3 dice. This is now just a single die. It is an electronic die that you can roll, and there is a electronic thumper that will signal to you what the number is showing up on the top of the die. So it is a completely electronic die. It charges wirelessly on this cool little charger that you get. And, you know, you can perform absolute miracles with this type of thing. It also will pair with your mental dice kit. We can talk a little bit about that in a little while. But I bought one last week.
So we have one here to look at, right?
Yeah, I do have one here to look at. I brought mine.
Yeah, and of course every week we talk about what we're going to buy.
And
And
yeah.
last week I said I was going to buy it, and
You also bought it. Look
I
at
bought
that.
it. Look at that.
Look at that. We have 2 of them. 2 mental die.
This is
Here,
great.
hit the overhead and open it up, Eric.
Yeah, let's take a look at
Did
this.
you even open yours yet?
So I have opened mine, but I think I'm going to open yours
go for
because of the thing on the inside.
Yeah.
So this is mental die. I'm going to open it up here. This is really fantastic packaging. So you get really nice packaging. Here is the charger, which is very nice. This just plugs into I think that's a micro USB, and that's. The dice just drops right in here and charges it. You just drop it right in. That little ring illuminates and it'll tell you if it's charging or not. You also get this thumper. This is really great. Comes with a little clip here. Now the thumper can actually come out of the clip, so you can put this on a belt or actually it comes with a strap. And this plugs, or sorry, it doesn't plug. It slides right in here, so you can do that. little switch here so you can turn it on and off. And then the other fun thing is that there's a drawer in the bottom here that comes with a strap that you can wrap around your leg or your arm, and the charging cable. And I gotta say, this whole thing, and the cool thing is too, it's got a little light in there. So there's a little LED light that comes on when you open up the box. And the really nice thing is that packaging is very solid. It's really well thought out.
Well, yeah, you would definitely I'm just going to leave mine in there.
Me too.
You know,
mine's,
it might be a little bulky in my case. I haven't figured out if I have the right amount of space for it yet in there, because it does take up more space than it needs to.
Yeah.
But it is a nice.
It's a really nice way to carry this around.
Yeah.
And you know, even if it's just like for the way you're going to store it at home. I got it, and I also got to say, I have played with mine extensively over the weekend, the week since it came in, and the charge lasts a good long time. The thumper is very powerful.
Yep.
I haven't actually held the rest of the mental dice and played with the LCD receiver, but if this quality is an indication, then the rest of the mental dice set is really good. And that looks like a real die.
Yeah, and the one thing to continually point out with this, because I know people ask me all this, it doesn't matter how many times I say it, this is just a regular die. It doesn't feel any different. It doesn't look any different. It's just a die with a lot of magic on the inside of it.
Yeah, it's a really special piece of kit. And this is one of those things that if you're doing shows, you're going to figure out a way to use this.
Yeah,
right?
That's the thing. Yeah.
Because it solves a lot of problems that you didn't ever really know existed. And you're going to use it. You're going to use it.
Mm-hmm. No, it's great. It's absolutely.
So it's $150.
Yep.
$149.99. Really, really great craftsmanship. I mean, and it recharges. Super good.
Highest rate. It also comes in black.
Yeah. Apparently, I was supposed to buy the black version.
You're supposed to get the black one.
And then we were going to swap.
I would have traded.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would have traded. You wanted the white. It's fine.
I wanted the white because it looks like a real die.
Yeah. Well, so does the black one.
Let's move on to number 7 this week. Number 7 is Touch by Paul Curry and Nick Locapo. This is a fantastic trick that Nick took a lot of time to work on out of the Worlds Beyond. What you are getting is not only a fully fledged routine, it is expanded upon and refined from the original version. You also get the very special deck that it takes to perform this, and expert tuition by one of the best teachers in the business, Nick Locapo. This is a really, really great instructional video. The cards are very high quality and really well printed, and it comes in a nice little case. This is a great trick. I remember the first time that Nick showed this to me. We used to get together back in the before times. We get together for dinner and drinks about once a month, and this is something that Nick learned out of Worlds Beyond, and he said, hey, I really like this trick, what do you think? And it blew me away. And then a few months later, you refined it down and solved some of the problems with the original, and now Touch is a real powerhouse of a trick.
Yeah, essentially what it is just, it's a pure open prediction. So you would say, I have a pack of cards, I'm going to pull out the Joker, and I'm going to write a prediction on it. And you would write a prediction on the face of the Joker, and that gets laid on the table in full view the entire time. So the prediction is on the table, never moves, it's not switched, right? So basically, from there, the spectator can name any card. They can think of a card, they can pick one if you want, but it doesn't matter what card they choose. It can be literally any card. And I know it sounds crazy, but the prediction on that card will match exactly whatever they say.
It's really good.
I mean it just goes right back to the original Paul Curry method. This trick is in Worlds Beyond. It's one of the few tricks in that book that required a gimmick deck to do. So when I first read it, working here at Penguin, I said, hey, this would be a great trick to print and produce, and here's how we could modernize it, because there was some problems with the original deck design. In fact, if you were to read it in Worlds Beyond right now, I think you'd come to the very quick conclusion, like, well, what if this happened? And we just kind of solved that by using the Joker. That'll make sense if you know what the original Touch trick is. The Joker is what we've replaced the prediction cards with. But anyway, the deck is great that we printed. The routine is great. I go in a lot. I go in really deep on the instructional video. I give you routines for stand-up and close-up and multiple people. It's just a fantastic routine.
It really is. It's a really great routine that if you own this, you will do it. I mean, I think it comes down to that. That sometimes you buy a gimmick deck and you're like, oh, this is really clever, this is really great. I can understand why the person who invented it uses it, but Touch is one that you'll do. You'll add it to your show and you'll definitely do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's move on, though. Let's move on to number 6 this week. Number 6 is Zombie Monty by Alvo Stockman. This, straight up, is a clever, interesting, fun, new modern take on the old Color Monty. Essentially, what you're getting here is some really nice full-color printed cards that you can use to do the Color Monty trick. But in addition to that, you're also getting an instructional video from Dan Harlan. Dan has worked out a new handling with Color Monty. He teaches you everything you need to know. It's a fun little story that you can tell with this. This is really nice. You get some cool cards with it. You get a nice little routine. That's shot in my garden, actually. But you get the expert instruction by Dan Harlan, which is really special, and the art is a lot of fun too. Yeah. This is, it's $6. If you need like a weird little trick to do on Halloween, this is the one.
$6. I do think there's not a lot of these left, to be honest. I think we're pretty low on these, and I doubt it's something that's going to get reprinted. I mean, maybe it gets put in some runs of stuff, but who knows? I love the art. The trick is great.
The art is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's by the same guy that does all of our Magitars here. Shout out to our first appearance by Alvo Stockman over here.
Oh yeah,
it's our first Alvo Stockman appearance.
I love the Alvo Stockman Magitar. That is really something special.
Yes, it sure is. Fun trick, especially for Halloween. Kids and adults. There's Dan's presentation is kind of. I mean, you can do it for kids, but it's like slightly adult, a little bit. When this first came out, I was like, what is this? But once you get your hands on it, you're like, this is actually great. Yeah. This is a really good trick. So.
There's something really wonderful about applying the Color Monty, because the Color Monty routine, let's talk about the Color Monty routine a little bit, because that routine is a fantastic piece of magic.
Yeah.
You're seeing things over and over and over again, and when that third sort of surprise comes at you, you have no idea where it came from. I think Color Monty might have been one of the very first packet tricks I ever really messed around with.
And it's so weird too, that original art on that with like, what is it, the $13 or something?
It's $14. And it was like the green foil with the it was Bill's, but
who's responsible for making that, right? Like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Because it could have been anything.
Yeah.
It happened to be that. But good old trick, Color Monty. Zombie Monty, grab it, $6. We're gonna run out of them. If we still have some next Halloween, well, get yours now. Be safe with it. Moving on to number 5 this week is the FPS Wallet by Brent Braun. This is the newest card to wallet where a card is signed and vanishes from the deck and ends up inside the ID window of your wallet. You can see the load right here where the signed card goes into the pocket, and then it also happens to be inside the wallet. The load is fast, the wallet is thin, and we have one here that we can take a look at once all these fancy clips are gone. There's a money clip in here as well.
Yeah, I think
there's a leather wallet.
That's sort of the interesting thing to talk about here is that it's like a lot of people have looked at this, and I know a number of the comments in the chat last week were, hey, I live in Europe. Is this going to hold my bills? And
right.
The thing is that it's a money clip wallet. Like, yes, it looks like a billfold, but it's not really a billfold because it's a clip that would hold it. I mean, you can actually, if you don't carry cash around, the way you would use this is just for your cards because it's perfectly fine to do that. Poba, can we go to the overhead here?
So there we are. It does come in this great little box. Everybody loves the packaging these days. Those days of getting the magic trick in the little plastic bag are over. Those are long gone. So yes, there is no billfold here. You're going to be using the money clip to hold your cash. There's some room for cards here.
Cash, when was the last time you touched cash?
I have not touched cash since like April or something. But so you got some room for cards. There's a little kind of pocket here, and this is where the card is going to end up.
And actually, I think it's important to talk about that little cutout right there. Was that this is not just like a wallet, but this is a wallet that's designed for card to wallet because inside the ID window, there's an area where you can like put your thumb, and if you didn't quite get the card all the way seated, you can readjust it on the fly, which it's neat. You're not going to use it ever, but when you do need to use it, you'll be so glad it's there.
We did talk to Brent last week about exposure and card to wallet magic and all that. We are going to show you where the card gets loaded in, because there is like a weird debate about like, this kind of secret is kind of gone at this point.
Yeah.
Like I think we all kind of know the card to wallet secret. Anyway, you are going to be loading the wallet with a slide, and it's going to be from this edge. I think some lately have been from the other side, which is interesting. But so anything that goes in here shows up here, right?
Yeah.
And of course, you could have it go either way, face up or face down. This is the little spot there that Eric was referring to, so that if you open the wallet and you saw that the card wasn't all the way in, you could use your thumb to pull it down. And it would come out of the wallet this way, right?
Yeah, it's and the only other thing that I think is sort of important to talk about this is that Brent worked with the Scam School guys a little bit. I believe it was the Scam School guys he worked with, but this protects your credit cards from RFID.
Yeah,
if your credit cards have RFID chips in them, this has RFID blocking technology in it, so someone can't just bump up behind you and skim your credit card information. So it's one of those features that I never really thought about, but I know a lot of wallets these days are being made with those features because credit cards are increasingly coming with RFID chips. So just a nice extra feature that Brent tossed in there.
Yeah, we had Brent on the show last week where he really took a deep dive on the FPS wallet. So if you're interested in it and you want more information, you can watch last week's show. Yep. It was in the number 3 spot, I believe. Where we talked to Brent, and he really breaks down. There's some black art stuff with that slide that we were talking about.
Yeah.
And like, there's a lot of like below the surface stuff that we don't have time to talk about here. But if you're in the market for card to wallet, this is the best of the best at the moment. Right?
At the moment. I mean, this is very highly recommended. And let's move on, though, to number 4. Number 4 is Jeremiah Zuo Live. Mr. Pope, we can actually roll the clip on this because it doesn't have sound this week. We're not showing the full performance. But this is a fantastic Penguin Live lecture. We alluded to this earlier, that Jeremiah Zuo was going to be in the top 20. We're going to talk about him again. I predict we're going to talk about him again next week. But check this out. Look how good this is. This not only looks good, it sounds good. Jeremiah Zuo is a brilliant underground fan of magic. He'll be on the podcast talking about this soon. He doesn't consider himself a magician. He considers himself a fan of magic. But what he did was put together an entire lecture that was only on coin magic. And more specifically, it's a 2.5-hour lecture on a very specific coin sleight that he is teaching that he calls the drop. You can read a little bit more about it in the ad copy. But it's something that you're seeing him do here over and over and over again. And it looks perfect and it sounds perfect. He uses it as a false transfer. He uses it as a vanish. He uses it as a click pass, so he can get 1 or 2 ahead. He has a really interesting, really different approach to coin magic that you're going to get excited about. And there have been a lot of questions. Hey, underground coin guy doing really wild, really innovative routines. Is this knuckle busting stuff that's super difficult? And the answer is no. Jeremiah talked in the lecture how he was kind of a lazy coin magician and didn't want to do the stuff that was going to be super risky, like some of the really hardcore coin guys do. And so he has structured a lot of these routines to not only be interesting and innovative, but also bulletproof and easy, so that he doesn't have to think about it. It's a really, really solid lecture that even Dan Harlan, Dan Harlan is famously not a fan of coin magic, and Dan was super excited about this.
I'm looking forward to watching this one. I have it in my queue at the moment to watch, because it just came out, was it last week?
I think it was last week.
Last week, yeah. So I'm excited to watch it. Especially today, I put together that little clip of the things, and then I was like, oh, geez, okay, yeah, there's a lot in here. I'm excited to see, because I didn't get to film this one where you guys were here.
Yeah.
Jeremiah looks like he did great thing. That's another one of our Penguin Live lectures, by the way. So if anything you see on the blue wall is typically one of our lecture products. Man, he's good.
Yeah, he's really good, and
Well, it shows you too, because it is in the number 4 spot.
Yeah.
And this is all just this. He was in the top 20 before the lecture came out, and he's only risen since then. So I have a feeling this is going to be one of, I mean,
Yeah,
it's going to be the top coin lecture of the year, right? Is there even another one in the category at the moment?
This is the lecture that a lot of working pros have been asking for.
Yeah.
They've been bugging Jeremiah to put this stuff out. People have asked us, when are you going to get Jeremiah Zuo in? And it took a lot to get him in here, and it was a lot of talking to him.
It took a pandemic to get him in here,
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
but it is worth it. This is the one that the people who you look up to in Coin Magic, they're watching this lecture.
Yeah.
They're looking forward to it.
Right.
And I have heard that as amazing as his coin stuff is, his card stuff is even better.
Yeah,
So I'm
so we're
hoping
gonna have
we
him
have
back,
soon.
right?
Yeah. Oh, we have to have him back.
Yeah. I'm back.
Yeah.
Moving on to number 2. Man, we're on number 2 already.
We're on number 3.
Number 3. Virtual Visions. Virtual Visions by Max Maven. This has been a continuing series of effects that has been going on since, whoa, do I have any dates here? I don't have any dates here. But once a week for the last, I don't know, month or so, we've been putting out a different Max Maven virtual magic trick that you can learn
I think
how
it
to
started
do
coming
as
out
well.
in August.
In August, yeah. So what you're seeing here is a variety of clips from some of the different tricks that you will learn from the Virtual Vision series. This is 6 different tricks, 6 different virtual magic effects, mostly mental magic effects that you can get for $50. If you get the $50 package, you'll also get an additional video where Max teaches you the history of virtual magic. So the newest one that just came out
is Manhattan Transfer.
Manhattan Transfer, but
I think-
Checkmates comes out in a couple days. And then we're done. That's the last one.
Yeah, it is. I got to jump back to the previous product because I just saw Jeremiah Zuo popped into the chat just
Oh, no.
now. So he's just, we just finished talking about how wonderful you are, Jeremiah.
Do we need
You
to go
missed
back and
by
do it again?
Literally 20 seconds you missed us talking about how wonderful you are. We should have him on too. We should get him on via Zoom. Or
Yeah, because
something
he
like that.
probably isn't a virtual magician, but
No.
he's probably really good at it.
I think that Jeremiah is just entertaining to talk to. He's one of my favorite podcasts.
He doesn't do virtual tricks, right?
He does,
But he's probably got,
he's not a magician. He's a fan of magic.
right, fan of magic,
Yeah,
right, right.
who does literal magic. No, so but let's talk about Virtual Visions.
Sure,
So
yeah.
Manhattan Transfer just came out. This is the one that you liked, wasn't it?
No, well, I mean, my favorite one was Switch Doctor.
Oh, yeah, Switch
You loved
Doctor.
Rainbow Magic.
Matrix.
Manhattan Transfer is out now, and Checkmates comes out
This is
next
the one
week.
with the packet of cards, though, where they're asked to spell their answers doing the cards, and they end up with their own card.
That's right.
They sort of like ask themselves some questions and answer them if it was a spelling.
Right.
And
It's a lie detector test type of thing that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really neat. And I think what's also really important to know here in this is that all of the tricks that Max teaches, you don't have to see what's going on. There's been some virtual tricks that have come out where you have to be able to see it.
Yeah.
And none of these require that, which is a tremendous advantage in the world of virtual.
Yeah, it's a good point. There's been a funny thing that's happened where people have relied on methods that require you to see what's going on in the spectator's home, which none of these do. You
Yeah,
can do these over the phone.
You could do them over the phone. You could do them. Let's say you were making like a television appearance and you wanted to interact with the viewers at home. You could do some of these that way.
And finally, I always kind of pitch this every week. If you've never seen Max Maven's Mind Games from the 80s, 90s,
It was late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Head on over on YouTube after this show. Type in Max Maven Mind Games, and you will be treated to an incredible. I mean, dude was doing the virtual magic before it was a thing. Right?
It's peak Max.
Yeah, it's peak Max for sure.
Let's move on to number 2 this week. Our good friend Mr. Tango is back in the top 20 with his new Remote Revenge. This is a really interesting virtual card trick that you can do to someone in a Zoom chat, Skype, Facebook Live, whatever you want. It's another virtual miracle that Mr. Tango has put out. And what I think is interesting about this is not only is the method one of those things that you should probably know, it's kind of interesting, but also Dan Harlan comes in on in the tutorial to not only teach some refined points of it, but also his own handling of this particular virtual effect. And you'll get a special treat because Dan Harlan performs his version of it to Nick Popa, which is always fun to see Nick Popa have his mind blown by Dan Harlan.
Look at Gregory Wilson getting his mind blown right here.
This is a nice little trick.
Yeah.
It's the method is not terribly difficult.
Nope.
Doesn't require any sleight of hand. Does require a little bit of procedure, but anyone watching this could do it.
Yes, yes, absolutely anyone. If you're doing virtual shows, you're trying to collect all the card trick methods there are for virtual shows, this is another one. As far as variety of presentation, it's pretty similar to a lot of stuff where you're locating a spectator's selected card.
Yeah.
But it is a very deceptive way to do so.
And I think one of the things that is interesting about this download is if you buy it, you see Mr. Tango's version and then you see Dan's version.
Yeah.
And the really illustrative point of this is that you will understand that you can really customize this trick to suit yourself and suit your own show. Because I think that's what Dan does, is Dan really takes it and he doesn't so much change a lot of the method as he changes some of the presentation and the scripting that really motivates a lot of stuff. And he makes some really interesting points about getting the counting out of this. Because as we know with a lot of virtual tricks, there's some procedure that requires some counting and some dealing, and Dan has a really nice way of handling that.
Mr. Tango also put out another virtual trick called Remote Miracle.
So that's the one he did for us.
That's the one that he did for us on the show. I'm not quite sure which show. You could go back and watch. Actually, I think it's its own clip on YouTube.
I believe you're right.
Where you can watch.
Mr. Tango actually was the one who ripped that clip out and put it out.
Possibly. Between the two, I got Remote Miracle first and then this one. Remote Miracle blew my mind. I didn't know how to work.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I kind of still have no idea how Remote Miracle works. This is in the same boat. When you first see this, you're like, that fooled me.
Yeah.
But take a look at both, is all.
Yeah, they're both, it's $10. Well worth your attention to learn it for $10.
Yeah.
So, it's not going to break the bank, and you'll learn a new interesting principle that you can use for other stuff.
Moving on to number one this week.
Yeah.
Am I doing number one? I guess I'm doing.
I think you need to do number one.
Why
I think
not?
this is you've coached this one along. I think it's time. It's making its debut here on the
Wow.
show. I think it's time. I think you need to push it over the finish line.
The number one trick this week is Ranald Alexander's ring in the bell. This is an amazing piece of magic where you borrow a spectator's ring, make it. We'll do it with the video here. You borrow a spectator's ring. You place it in your hand, you bring out a bell, and then you make the ring disappear, and it's totally gone. And then you have the spectator hold the bell, you close your hand, you say you're going to make the ring come back. They ring the bell, you open your hand, it doesn't come back. But then you say, wait a minute, what is this? You look inside the bell, and the spectator's ring is found on the inside of the bell. So it turns out to be the clapper that was inside the bell, making it ring the entire time. So it's a ring to impossible location that has a lot of charm and makes a lot of sense. It really can tie a set of magic together. Let's talk about it because I brought mine here. I know a lot of people have questions about this. I've been talking to a lot of people this past week about it.
Yeah, I think that this is something that we should address. Because
the people just want to do it.
It's a great trick.
You're going to get this cool box, and this is the bell that you'll receive. This custom silver bell. I actually have a ring in here. So what you're going to get is that bell. Sorry, I'm just taking the thing off the ring off the bell here. You can borrow a ring. And actually, just go to no. We'll keep it here. You're gonna get. So I haven't talked about this one yet. So it's like I'm not even quite sure what to say. You get the silver bell and the ring. And basically, what happens is all you have to do is like any vanish that you know how to do, and there's a device on the inside of the bell that will attach the ring to it. Now go to the wide there, Popa, for a second. So let me just show you the load because people have been. That's like been the biggest thing that I've had to field this week is like people want to know how fast this bell can be loaded. Yeah. The bell is going to be in your back pocket, okay? So when you borrow the ring, right, you'll have the ring in your hand. It's just a simple, here, let me grab what I have here is a bell, and I'm loaded.
Yeah.
Right. So there is no load.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It loads faster than the FPS ball.
Well, it loads. There is no load. You're
Yeah.
basically dropping the ring in the mouth of the bell
Yeah.
with another secret something. Okay, that makes it be in there. Okay, then you can just make it disappear.
It's a really effective trick. I saw Reynolds do this a number of times. I've seen you do this a number of times. We filmed a whole bunch of different stuff with this. And the bell is really nice. The way it loads is really nice.
Oh, that's
too.
like the best part, is
Yeah.
that the load is perfect. It's like exactly what you would want it to be. It's so easy. You're just dropping the ring in the bell. That's all you're doing.
We can't release this footage, but someone did this in a show maybe 10 minutes after they saw
Yes.
the gimmick.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's how easy this is to learn.
Right.
This might be one of the easiest to do
It
ring flights.
really is
Yeah.
among the easiest ring flights imaginable. And if there is no confusion, if you're out there, this is the bell that you get.
Yeah.
There's the bell that Reynolds uses in the video that you even saw here. That was his original prototype bell. That's the bell that he brought here when we were first working on it. We worked on this bell for a couple of years, and one of the things that this bell can do that the original bell could not is the original bell was not able to ring before you had a ring in it.
Yeah.
So you couldn't bring the bell out before you even borrowed the ring and ring it.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that. It would only ring after it was loaded.
It's something that we felt was really important to be able to add to the routine, was the ability to ring the bell. And so we worked very hard to be able to make that happen.
Yeah. Oh, and there's another question too, Davis West. Thank you for asking and reminding me. People are wanting to know if it will damage the ring.
That's a really, really good question.
And
the answer is, don't do something that would damage the ring.
The way that I think about it is the ring is already being subject to daily wear and tear, no matter what. I don't really view this doing anything abnormal that the ring isn't doing already throughout the day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't allow my spectator to be,
This is not your presentation should not be, here, take this ring and now get people to donate to the Salvation Army. Like, that is not at all how you want to do that.
There's nothing about the gimmick or the design of the bell that is anything other than what you understand of a bell.
Yeah.
Their ring is attached to something that is hitting both sides of this.
Yeah.
So
And
if you think that will damage a ring, then don't, this trick isn't for you.
I think you need to also pay attention to the ring that you were borrowing. If you're borrowing like a wedding band is great, right? Don't borrow a very thin ring with a big diamond in it, because that's not a good. But also like a wedding band style ring, or like a more sort of sturdy type of ring without stone settings is actually going to make the ring sound better too. Like when you're actually ringing it, because if you've got like all kinds of different gemstones and stuff like that, it's not gonna sound as good.
Somebody else asked in here, would a key work? It would if it had like a big enough hole to be hooked onto.
Yeah.
The only thing that can happen is if the key is too tall, it would actually hang out of the bottom of the bell, right? This is sized in a way that the ring is going to hang just below the mouth of the bell, no matter what the size. Even if you have a really big ring, it's only going to dip below the mouth for a very small thing. No sound while you're loading the ring.
There's a little bit of sound.
Yeah, but there is sound, but you're basically getting a bell out of your pocket, right? So the bell's going to make sound whether you were putting something in it or not, right?
Yeah.
Like if I wasn't loading it, it's still going to make noise as I bring the bell out, and it's all the same.
It's one of those things that people are sort of familiar with the way bells work, and so with some noise happening, it goes in their brain and falls right out.
Yeah, I mean, you can see, I don't really want to play the clip again, but Reynolds in those clips has got the bell out like the load is instantaneous. There almost is no load.
Ling Lee is over here in the Facebook chat asking, what about an earring? But I also see like a crying, laughing emoji, so I think he's just sort of like piling on there. But yeah, you could use an earring if it was the size of a finger ring.
Yeah, sure, sure. Great trick.
Yeah.
The other thing just to note about it is that, and we talk about it in the tutorial, that it's a bell is a magical item in itself.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So you could walk up to a table and ring the bell to get everybody's attention. You could put the bell on the table. You could open your set. You know, maybe you're doing a card trick where the card comes to the top and you give the bell to somebody, they ring it to make the card come to the top, right? Then at some point, you put the bell in your back pocket, borrow a ring, and load it in the bell, and then make it disappear, right? And then you can reveal it right away, or maybe wait a little while. But the interesting part is that the bell is on the table ringing the entire set, because it can, whether there's a ring in it or not. So to be able to like branch it out throughout, this is a great restaurant table set type of thing, right? It's just perfect, because it could start and finish your set with a nice through line.
This is another item that I would classify like Die Cipher 2, whereas like this is going to be great for your restaurant walk around people, but also this is the kind of thing that you can put on your desk in your office, put on your mantle. People are going to ask a question about this, and then there's a very organic way to get into it. I mean, this is not just the kind of thing you'll use. This is the kind of thing you can leave out around your house so that when you have company over, they're going to ask you, what the heck is that bell?
That's great.
And you can start talking about it and then go into this thing, and then their ring appears inside the bell.
No, it's great.
I can't stress enough that there are a really lot of opportunities to do this kind of effect.
Yeah, there's another thing people have been bringing up. 11 again says maybe use it with Copycat, David Parr. I've had a lot of people talking to me about that. There's been a lot of interest in this trick. I think there's a great ring on string routine living out there somewhere. I haven't put it together. I don't do a ton of ring and string. I love ring and string. I just never put it together.
Ring on stick, ring. Anytime you're putting a ring on something and putting it on and off, like this is the great like end.
Yeah, because you don't really have to do anything to crowbar this into whatever ring routine you already got.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to just do one small thing, and you can get a nice kicker. Like, you know, if you wanted to use this with linking finger rings, which I think Reynolds uses it as a kicker to his linking finger rings routine. I love it. I've always loved it since the first time I saw it, and I'm glad it's finally out, because it took a while to get here with that.
Yeah, worked hard on it, and I mean, and really the whole team had a hand in putting this thing together, and it came out really well. So
yeah, sure did.
Well, I think that brings us to the end of the show. Nick,
Say it ain't so.
We're about to head out, and but as always, we have to talk about what we're gonna buy this week.
Oh, right.
So all right, Nick. Last week we said I said mental die, and I bought it. So I was a man of my word. What are you gonna buy this week?
Well, you know, I think so. Unfortunately. Fortunately, I own all of this stuff. Yeah, a lot of this stuff. We had a lot of Penguin stuff in here this week.
Yeah.
But I was really excited to see the Impromptu Magic project again.
Yeah.
And the watch trick that we watched. Now, I do that trick, but it's reminding me that I should do it again. And there's some reasons why you should do that trick again, because it would be good to go support some people out there. Yeah, great trick. Yeah. Go do that trick. Yeah, I'm going to go do that trick for somebody this week.
Okay. I think my buy this week is going to be card and Sharpie. I know how it works. I really like it.
You never did it, right?
I never did it.
It
was one of those I always looked at it and it was like,
actually, I could even see this in a stand-up show for you, right? Like
maybe I'll even put it in the Utah show.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, maybe if you come to Utah. So Nick and I, a lot of people may or may not know this, Nick and I are going to be in Utah at the Mystique Dining Lounge in the end of November. We're looking forward to doing those shows.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a show.
We don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to be doing them. That is it. Anything else, Nick?
I don't know. Tell them about the podcast.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk a little bit about that. So, again, the Penguin Magic podcast comes out every Thursday at 5 p.m. It is a 30-minute podcast where I interview your favorite magicians that are coming through here. Also, a few other people, because we've been able to get people digitally. But they're your favorite magicians. I interview them. I talk about all kinds of different things with them. We have some fantastic interviews coming up. It's been around for a year now, and this week concludes part 2 of Fay Presto.
Fay Presto.
Man, the Fay Presto talk was amazing. Next week on the podcast, we're going to have Andy Luttrell. He is the author of Psychology for Mentalists.
Oh, man, I'm glad you got Andy.
Yeah, he is an actual working psychologist. So whenever you hear somebody say, oh, that's the psychology behind it, they're just talking magician psychology. I wanted to talk to a real psychologist about magic, so I called up a magician who actually teaches psychology at Ball State University.
He's
in
one of
Indiana.
those guys that like I know is probably like secretly sneaky good.
Yeah.
That I've never seen him do anything.
Nope.
He used to come to all the lectures here at Penguin. Like I'd see him only for the mentalism ones, right? He'd
Yeah.
never come out for the card trick.
He's
ones.
he's super into mentalism. And,
Yeah,
and I think
yeah.
he's sneaky good too. He's
Yeah, I
never
bet-
shown me a trick though.
Yeah, I've never seen him do anything, but I bet he's amazing.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's a phenomenal comedian, and
Yeah.
it's a really great podcast. You're definitely going to want to listen to it. We talk about we talk about social psychology and magic. We talk about decision making. There's a lot of really interesting stuff in next week's episode. Plus, we always drop a discount code on the featured download of the week. So if you listen to the podcast, you can also save some money on getting some new magic.
Let's commit to a new look next week a little bit.
All right.
I mean, we'll at least have a new name.
All right.
We'll at least change the name.
Yeah. So next week, what do you think we're going to call it?
The Cool Box Live.
Cool Box Live. You
Cool
heard it here
Box
first.
Live.
We're going to be the Cool Box Live next week.
Yeah, this will still exist. We'll probably do this show here and there, I
Yeah.
think. You know, but we gotta start. If we start changing, maybe things change. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Right?
Let's change it up.
Yeah. Why not?
Thanks
Anybody
again.
watch this?
Thanks again for watching. We really appreciate it. Again, be sure to share this video so that more of your friends can find out about all of the great magic at penguinmagic.com. I'm Eric Tate alongside Nick Locapo. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.